Mhm. Hey, Jane.
Hey.
Are we just looking at each other trying to figure out what's going on?
Oh, basically, yes. Oh, but we're live now.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, Jane, it only took us 30 minutes to get our technology together, but yeah, here we are. And we will definitely go from here and just get things going here.
Okay. It says we're live on Facebook. I don't know if I'm gonna see if I can check it on my phone, or are you checking it? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I can see like if people are joining or if it's like questions, stuff like that. If I can see,
Okay. Yeah.
I see a few things popping up at the bottom,
Okay.
and I
Hey guys,
see,
so you are
I see,
live and it's
I see.
recorded, and I'll see if there's questions popping up
Yeah.
so we
That's
can
what I'm
get
talking. That's what
started.
I'm talking about. When you just got that support team and technology not working right, that's what I am talking about. Shervon, where my shout out to Shervon Williams for this Facebook Live event this evening. Shout out Shervon for getting
Yeah.
us together.
She's awesome.
Okay, well, we are going to get started. My name is Victoria Ballard, and I am a board member with the Centers for Wellness for Urban Women. And this evening, we are hosting another session of our summer conversation series. And we are focusing on environmental wellness this evening. We're trying to keep our conversations going. We're trying to make sure that we're keeping all of our women connected, especially in reference to issues that we're focusing on through our program. So just a bit of an overview for the Center of Wellness for Urban Women, our vision. So our vision is that every woman will create a culture of wellness, through everything that we're doing. Our mission is just to make sure that women are empowered, and their family, that empower women and their families are empowered and living in urban communities, and making sure that they take action in their health and well-being through education, advocacy, prevention, and care. So everything that we're doing, we're just making sure that we're focusing on all of those topics. A few of our goals that we have through CWU, making sure that we empower women, making sure that women live in urban community settings, looking at them as healthcare consumers and decision makers. We make sure that we target health delivery systems to the underserved, making sure we're eliminating health disparities in any way we can by connecting those resources and those programs, and just making sure that information is shared. Coordination and integration. We look to create healthier communities and neighborhoods with a more integrated and coordinated healthcare delivery system. Innovative model for health promotion. We make sure that we always promote health. So if you make sure you look at our Facebook page, we're consistently making sure that we're posting events that are going on in the community, events that our partners are hosting, different things that women can get involved in, throughout the communities, and especially from state to state, we try to make sure that we stay connected on other levels as well. And also just spreading the success. A lot of women are doing a lot of great things in communities with their jobs, with their families. So we make sure that we share those success stories, what women are doing and how other women can get involved and do things. So those are several of our goals that we're doing. So this evening, I'm definitely making sure we're keeping up with the conversation. So like I said, we're discussing environmental wellness. And we always make sure that through our 7 dimensions of wellness that we focus on, we try to keep up with those things that we're doing as well. So environmental, we're looking at social, we're looking at occupational. So through all of our dimensions, we actually had a 7-day virtual awards event this year. And Jane Brandt, who was one of our speakers today, she actually won as our 2020 award for our environmental wellness. So what better way to continue the conversation than to make sure that we are on with Miss Jane Brandt this evening. So Jane, definitely some information about you. I know that you are a backyard beekeeper. You are a beach body coach. You hold your master's degree in environmental policy. And like I said, you're also this year's winner for our Center for Wellness of Urban Women for our Environmental Wellness Award. So we definitely just want to keep the conversation going with you this evening. So Jane, if you can just give us a little bit more just about what you do, how you get involved with stuff, especially being a backyard beekeeper. Now, you know, I am excited to hear about that and how you got involved with it, what's going on. So tell us a little bit about that, Jane.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me tonight. I'm so happy to be here. And I've been a beekeeper for maybe about 3 years now. I got started because my dad had some hives. So at first I was just his assistant and I was just learning things from him. And I would just slowly learn things, but I didn't have my own hive. I was just attending his hive. But then last year I got my own hive, and then he had a hive and I had a hive, but his hive didn't do so well and his didn't make it, but mine did. It flourished for a little bit, but it eventually didn't make it through the winter, unfortunately, which that happens because hives are just so hard to keep alive, unfortunately. I mean, with pests, different bugs. I mean, that's why I'm always like checking my hive for different bugs that could get into them, like mosquitoes. It's amazing what can happen to a hive. I mean, sometimes they just collapse. Sometimes the bees are just weak and they just leave the hive.
And that's interesting, because even when we talk about just like there's things in the environment, okay, most of the time, especially, you know, just personally, you know, people being at home, things like that. When we see beehives, it's like, okay, there's a hive. You know, either it forms on the side of the gutter, or it can be on the back of the house or somewhere, you know, it forms. So it's so engaging to hear you say that your hive didn't survive and that you wanted it to survive.
Right.
When, you know, on the outside looking in, it's just like that thing is never going anywhere.
Right. Right.
So when you're saying that it didn't survive, I mean, what is it like in reference to it not surviving? Is it like the number of bees that aren't occupying it, or is it the temperature and the environment that doesn't keep it? Or like even me, like say if I had a hive on the side of the house, what is something that would make that hive die out?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy, but it can be so many different reasons that a hive can just collapse. I mean, they can just be weak, like maybe the queen doesn't want to lay any more eggs. And so if you don't have a strong queen, your hive is just going to collapse right then and there. And then another colony can come in and rob it. And that's happened too. If a stronger colony comes in, they'll just like take all the honey. And so that's one way.
And it's a whole situation with it.
Gosh, yes. It's not always one thing that causes a colony to collapse, which is the crazy thing. That's why I'm always inspecting my hive to make sure, because I don't always see the queen, and that's okay if I don't see the queen, because she's hard to find. But if I see new brood, and brood is baby bees, and that's what you want to see. If you see that, then you know you have a healthy hive. And so as long as you can see that, it's great. And you just want to check on it to see that things are growing, especially this time of year. And I mean, you can check to see if you can harvest any honey, but you might not be able to. Like this year, I can't harvest any honey. It's a new hive, and I want to leave enough for the girls to have enough to make it through the winter. And because there's just not enough honey for me to harvest and them, which I know that sounds strange to bees.
So the amount of honey, when you're looking, you know, at a hive, so they actually need a certain amount to thrive on throughout the winter. So even like you say, harvesting honey, you know, we're thinking about, okay, you see a hive, you know, just even I know that process itself is so intricate to go in and actually harvest honey, but I never thought about the actual process of making sure that it was enough left for them within that hive to actually survive on. And that process is so interesting, because like I said, most people, you know, we see bees and we're just like, no, you know, you're not trying to deal with the hive. You're trying to get rid of it. You don't want anything swarming. You're not trying to get stung. But it's just so engaging just to think, like you're saying, there's an entire process, just behind, that harvesting and
Yeah.
behind what's, going on in the environment, in reference to that hive, and things like that. And you said you started with it young too. So you've been doing it for a little while and a lot of experience with it. Is it a certain climate that they work better in? Like, does it have to be like really hot, or is it like mild, or most of the time, like winter, I know they're dying out.
Like us people, we don't like the hot. And so all of my bees right now, they're flocking outside the hive, like on the outside, because it's too hot inside the hive. They're trying to cool themselves off.
Mm-hmm.
Too hot in there. And then in the winter, they're all trying to stay warm, so they kind of like nestle themselves, protect the queen and everything. And like for winter, I insulate the hive to try to keep them warm.
Oh,
Even like a sugar board that it's like extra food for them in case they run out of honey. There's the extra sugar board for them to use as a backup substance so that they can make it and everything to spring.
Okay. And what would you say, Jane, the positive benefits are, when you look at, just bees and the hives and just their relation just to the environment, aside from, the main thing we all know, we all love some good honey, so we know that's a positive thing.
Oh my
But what are some other benefits you would say, are coming, especially in reference to the environment, are coming from, a good beehive?
Oh my gosh, having a healthy beehive and natural honey. I was amazed when I first tasted real honey straight from the hive, how different it tastes from like store honey. It tastes so different. I mean, I can just like, it's, I didn't expect it to taste that different, but it really does.
It's not processed, no additives, no additional.
Oh, but just like, I've been enjoying just watching my bees grow and just like marveling at them and just watching the different process, because you have your worker bees and then the queen bee and then the drone bees. The drone bees are the only male bees in a hive, and they won't sting you. That's the only bee that won't sting you.
You said the drone bee won't?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drone bee.
Yes.
And and you can identify those. So just looking, what each one looks like.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
The drone bee. So what types? So I know definitely you got the queen, you got the drones, and what are there other types?
It's just the worker, which is what most of them are worker bees. And then the drone is the male bee and the queen, and you only have one queen bee in the Yes.
That queen bee.
Yeah, that's all you need. And she's just busy laying eggs every day.
Oh, and so they lay every day.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
It never stops because it's a constant growing process.
And it's every day. Now around your hives, are there certain materials that you find that work better? Like, do you purposely maybe plant certain plants, around, the hives, or, where the hives are, like certain types of grass and things like that, certain types of moisture? Like what makes the good environment, especially for like plants and stuff like that, the soil?
Well, it's good to have like a water source nearby for the bees to have like some sort of water, and just natural flowers like clover, bee balm. I mean, so that they can get some pollen, because that's, I mean, that's part of their nutrients to fill their hive and everything.
Right.
It's just so many different things that they need. It's just an interesting process that they just instantly know as soon as they kind of hatch out of the cell. they're working instantly.
They just automatically know. So it's like just that innate ability just to make sure they're protecting the queen, working, keeping the hive, and it just goes straight from there. That is so interesting. Like I said, that entire process, just to even hear the details that you just provided, I would never have even thought about all that goes into that hive. You know, you see things and you know pretty much it's a process going on. You know, like you see anything, like you see ants crawling, you know there's a process. You know, they're in this line for a reason. You know, they're digging for a reason. So you know it's a whole process to what they're doing. But us externally outside looking in, you know, it's kind of difficult to see
Exactly.
what's going on with that. So that is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting that you've been doing that. Now, a little bit about this beach body coaching
Sure.
that you are involved in, because you know everybody wants that
Sure.
beach body, and especially right now, you know, during COVID, it's been a little difficult for people to kind of, you know, work out and get into those habits, even though some of us have a lot more time than usual, so we could have been doing a lot right now, so you know, no excuse on that. But tell us a little bit about that, Jade, and how you got into that, and what does that involve, being a beach body coach?
Well, Beachbody, I got involved because I got really sick. Believe it or not, I had my appendix removed and I got really sick from that. I had like some major complications from that. And so I was like in and out of the hospital for a lot. And I took my health for granted. I was young. I never thought I could ever get sick or needed to worry about my health. I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry about that. And so once I got healthy again, I thought, like, I want to work out and get strong so I never have to feel weak again. And so that's what inspired me to want to work out. And that's why I enjoy lifting weights. And I enjoy eating healthy, to fuel my body, to be healthy and strong, and mentally and physically. It's just so empowering. I've just been enjoying it.
Enjoying it. So you said you lift weights. So is a lot of it focused? Do you focus on weightlifting?
It just depends on what the program I'm doing involves. And it's all at home, which is amazing. So I don't have to worry about going to the gym. So exactly during COVID, I didn't have to like stop working out or anything. I could still do everything from the comfort of my home, which is great because I don't like to wear shoes. So, so I could just do it in my living room barefoot, which is great.
And just be done with it.
That's
so
right.
do you teach classes?
Well, it's all online. It's great. It's kind of like Netflix of workouts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there are just so many different programs to choose from. It's amazing, the different like opportunities to choose from. It's great
to do that on there. So is it a certain population? Are you when you say coaching, are you doing from young to older, or just, you know, middle, or just whoever's interested in strength?
Anybody is able to join, and it's not just geared for like young people or anything. There's in the program that I'm doing now, there are some 60-year-olds that are like going amazing and just like killing it. They're just like wow, that is inspiring. That is what I want to do.
It could probably run circles around me, I'm sure.
Oh, and me too.
I'll be sitting there looking at it. I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to do one push-up, and this lady ran past me.
Oh, yeah, those are a struggle. Yeah, those. Yeah. Don't. You can give you props. Yeah, push-ups are a struggle for anybody.
With the coaching, well, that is good, because especially like I said, with us just having a conversation just about environmental wellness, it's just tying everything in. You know, when you look at wellness, like you say, what you're doing, you know, your beekeeping, you know, just keeping your wellness and your spirit, and just that whole process, you know, focusing on that, you know, working out, your strength, you know, and things like that. So it's so much that's connected in when you talk about, environmental wellness that we don't even really connect sometimes. When you think about, sometimes you may be suffering from, depression or things like that. And like you said, issues, with sickness and, trying to get your weight together and things like that. You don't even think about how things connect, sometimes, which is really,
Yeah.
engaging. Now, would you say in reference to, both of these things that you're doing, do you have other interests, in reference to environmental wellness, something that you may be thinking about getting into that may inspire other women to kind of get into some things?
Well, I also have a backyard veggie garden. So that's another thing that I've
Mhm.
been trying to have some time to work on, but mainly I've been trying to focus on my bees and everything and just
Mhm.
checking on them. It's just good to, check on the hive just to make sure that there's no problems to know if I need to treat. Because last time I looked at my hive, I saw some hive beetles, just a few, but it was enough for me to think, oh, next time I open up my hive, I should treat for them so that they don't multiply and take
Mm,
over. Because
mm.
when I see a few things that I don't like, I'm like, okay, that's a few things that gives me the idea that something's a little off, so I can try to treat for those, because there's just so many different things that I need to treat for and watch out for.
Make sure you watch out for. Now,
Oh,
what type of materials do you use now when you're saying the actual hive? Is it a way that you let it form itself, or is there something that you actually build?
it's actually built,
Okay.
but I wish I had a frame that I could like hold
To
up
show
here
how
now,
it
because
actually,
the
yeah.
bees build their own honeycomb on top of a lot of the frames.
Right. Okay.
I lift up each frame out of the boxes to see how they look and everything. And so a lot of times it's like the top part that'll have honey, and like the middle part will have all the eggs, all the baby bees, which
Mhm.
is normal. That's what you want to see. And you want to see how the brood pattern looks. Because if it looks a little spotchy, or if it isn't that full, then that lets you know, wait, maybe I have a weak hive. What do I need to do to fix this? Do I need to get a new queen? How can I make them strong again to get more bees in my hive to make them strong? That,
Yeah.
that's the importance of always checking on your hive. It's so important to maintenance your hive.
That is so interesting. And you said, so this is just in your, so this is in your personal yard that you were
Yep.
actually
Yes.
able to do this. Now, do you connect at all with any of the major, um, like I don't want to say companies or anybody else that has hives like in the community, like those who actually like produce, honey and things like that? Do you work directly with them, or you
Oh,
kind
I've
of do your
made
own
honey
person?
before.
Yeah.
It's a process. You'll get like your whole house will be sticky for a while,
Mm, yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
a fun
Sure.
process. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, you just like spin the frames and everything and make all the honey fall off, and it's a process though. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, as
That
long
is
as
so
there's enough
interesting.
honey left over. And it's amazing when you pick up a frame
Mm-hmm.
filled with honey, how heavy it is.
Oh.
Frame that's filled with baby bees, it's a night and day difference. It is a frame that's filled with honey is so heavy.
Right. And you said you shake it off the comb?
Well, after I leave it away, I mean, when I'm ready to harvest it, you have to
Mhm.
kind of cut it to uncap the honey, because
Okay.
honey
Okay.
is capped. So you kind of have
Yeah.
to like uncap it
Mm-hmm.
to harvest it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I know,
I have a
it's a
question.
process.
That's it. No, I'm pretty sure it's a really interesting process. And with everything that you're doing, and definitely being, our award winner for environmental wellness, I can see why you were
you.
selected, because
Thank
you
you.
were all out in the yard with the bees and the
Yeah.
honeycombs at One with Nature. So even with that, so how did you feel about that when you were nominated, even to be our award winner for
I
environmental
felt so
wellness?
honored. I'm just so appreciative to be honored and considered. It's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we
And
actually
then,
have a question from Facebook.
okay, we have a
So
question. What is our
someone
question?
said, what's a way to get rid of bees without harming them?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay, well, first, it depends on if they're really bees or not. Because sometimes
Hmm.
people think they have a honey hive, but it could be a wasp nest. So
Ah.
first we got to figure out if it really is a honey hive. And then I'm pretty sure there are people to call if it is a honey hive. I'll have to, I mean, because wasp nests kind of infiltrate too houses and everything too, and it does get
Yeah.
confusing to know which one it is. So sometimes that's what you have in your house, and it's not a bee nest.
Yeah. And are wasps like naturally, aren't they bigger than the bees though? Like if you see a wasp, or not really?
Ah,
I probably can't tell the difference between a wasp and a bee. If I saw one, you just see something flying if you're trying to kill it.
confusing when you're just like looking at it at a glance, when you just see something flying by and it's white and black, or I mean yellow and black, and it's just flying by you. They kind of all those little flying insects kind of
Look the same. They just look the same, and that's a good question to ask, how to actually get rid of them without harming them. Because, like I said, that's the first thing that people deal with. I mean, if you go outside, your decks, your patios, things that you have, and if you see, a beehive, okay, the first thing most people are going to do are get some spray. And
right.
they are going to completely saturate the hive to try to kill all the bees, or they're going to get something and try to knock it down,
Right.
just to make sure they get it off, the surface. But like you say, trying to do something without, harming them,
Right.
that is interesting, because you don't want to.
There are a lot of people that will come and take the hive. If it is an actual honey hive in your house, they will come and take that. And I mean, like, do all the work and everything. So it just depends on what it is and everything. Yeah. Some people do a good job.
Yeah, because like you said, it's actually like that hive is excuse me, like if honey has produced and stuff like that, they
Yeah.
definitely want that. They don't want you to just knock that down and just throw
Right.
it away. When they
Right.
can use it and produce it.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, so definitely to answer that question, along with everything else you said, there are people.
Yeah.
I don't know what companies we have here in Indianapolis, but you can call somebody to come get those hives down.
Yes.
If you're dealing with that issue. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
In reference to other things that are going on, Jane, like we talked about, just health, the bees and things like that. I just want to make sure we just kept in mind,
Sure.
other things, just, in the community, in the environment, and things like that. So are there any partnering organizations, that you're connected with, or any other support groups, that kind of help, work with things in the community?
Well, there is the Indiana Beekeepers Association. And
Mm.
they have a big group, and I even went to bee school through them.
Really?
Yes, they have a bee school.
Okay, so bee school. Will you? Will you learn, just like I can tell by the way you're speaking, the insides and outs of the type of bees, the hives?
They have a beginner class and an advanced class. And since I've never gone to bee school, I thought I'll take the beginner class. Even though I'm probably more advanced, I could have taken that one, but I just thought I'll take the beginner. And there were some people that they didn't even have a hive in the beginner class,
Right.
which I think they might need to go back and take it again because they might appreciate it more, because I know I appreciated the beginners class a lot more after having a few years under my belt, because it all made a lot of sense to me. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah. But there are some things I wish I would have paid more attention to, like getting a package of bees, how to install a package of bees, because I ended up getting a package of bees this spring and didn't really know how to install a package of bees. So that was kind of fun to install.
So you said all of that, you said that's in the beginner's course though? They teach you all that stuff?
Oh yeah. It's an all-day thing.
Oh wow. So you can do a beginner's or you can do the advanced
Yes.
course.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That is really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
yes, so now definitely I have to pay a lot more attention, and it's so crazy now because every time I see a bee, I'm going to think about Jane and okay, I'm not gonna swat this bee.
Like,
Okay, let me not swat it. Let me make sure. We're just gonna be hard to do, but I'm gonna make sure I remember Jane told me not to swat this bee.
It's funny.
I will try my best not to, but that is so interesting. That is so interesting. Well, I don't know if we have any more questions or anything.
Yes.
Like I said, technology and the way things are going. I can't.
We have a question. It says, are bees still at risk? I guess there was a time when everyone was scared of bees because of they carry the virus and stuff like that. But they said, are bees still at risk?
I don't know at risk, but I mean, they're at risk of, in the sense of not surviving. I mean, I consider bees almost close to being not endangered, but just bees are, I wouldn't say that they're at risk. They're just more like a sensitive species, just because of pesticides and everything. They can die so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just gets a little crazy.
Yeah, iffy, but they're definitely not like carrying anything now, or anything that we have to be worried about, like with mosquitoes carrying stuff or getting stung. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that they're anything like that.
Because definitely right now bees, because once you're stung, they die, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I even got stung this spring as an adult. And I was the weird person. It stung me on my chin through my mask.
Oh, wow.
How she did it, but
through your mask.
Yeah, through my mask. And I was just all fascinated by it.
What?
I was like, oh, that's so neat. Of course, I still had like put my hive away and then like get the stinger out and everything. But
right. And do you have a certain reaction to, because everybody doesn't react the same to bee stings. Like I know some people swell up real bad, some people may be allergic, so it can be definitely, but I know a lot, it's different reactions, to bee stings. So do you don't swell up or anything if you get stung?
I do, and my dad recently had a bad reaction too. So we have EpiPens just to be on the safe side in case we ever have a bad reaction, just to make sure if we do have a reaction that we'll be safe and everything, just so we don't need it, or but you never know, because it could happen. Yeah.
So we have one last question.
Okay.
That I see, and it says, what is the difference between hornets and bees? Because I thought it had a bee issue and it was really a hornet issue, and I had to call the Department of Health.
Oh, yeah, I think there's hornets and wasp, and I know they look similar, I think, but yeah, I'm not really 100% sure, but they're not the same. I know that, and I don't know if they even do anything useful, hornets or wasp, besides just annoy and make a nest or anything. Yeah, I don't know if they do anything useful.
No, I agree. I asked that question because that's the issue that I had in the apartment. And they came like I would hear something and I'm like, what is that noise? What is going on? And like the leasing office really couldn't help me because they didn't know where it was coming from. So like they checked to see if there was like a hive anywhere. So then I just wound up calling the Department of Health, and someone came out and put like this, I don't know, like in the vents, he put this like stuff in the vents so that they can die. But like there were so many of them, we didn't know where it was coming from. And it was only in my room.
Oh, wow.
That makes it hard if you don't really know where they're coming from.
Yeah. But they were just all in my room, which was like, and I'm a light sleeper. So like I was hearing stuff and I'm like, oh my God, there goes one. And I thought it was like in the closet, and the maintenance people thought it was in the closet. But I called and he like got up on the ladder and opened up my vents, and they were all like in there. And he put this like whatever chemical for them to die, and then I was good. But it was really weird because no one else had the issue.
That's very
wow. In the vent, they were just inside too, of all places.
But it was only in my apartment and only in my room.
They liked you.
Yeah, right. I don't live there anymore. But
they was like, we're gonna stay close to Siobhan is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stay really close. So interested. So that's what I say. You wouldn't even think it was so much going on in reference to bees. You just open my eyes up to a whole new process to think about when I see them, and now I'm gonna be all amazed looking at if I see a hive again. Just not trying to get too close to it, definitely not, but just interested in the process and what's going on.
Well, good. I'm glad I could help share a little bit more with you. Yeah.
Yes. Do we have any other questions, Siobhan?
No, that was the last one.
I can't see anything. Okay. Well, I definitely don't want to hold too long or go over our time because I know it's already 7:30 and we were supposed to start at 6:30, but like I said, technical difficulties, and we just don't go with the flow because technology is going to do what it's going to do, but so are we. So we going to keep our flow going. But again, I am Victoria Ballard. I'm a board member with the Center of Wellness for Urban Wellness, and I am also Community Engagement Coordinator with Indianapolis Healthy Start through the Marion County Public Health Department. And we had our conversation this evening with Jane Brandt, definitely Beachbody coach, beekeeper, environmental wellness policy, has a degree in it. So she is just rounded and educated on what's going on with some things. So Jane, we definitely want to thank you for having a conversation with us this evening. And also, again, I want to thank you for, just accepting the nomination and being our winner for our virtual awards this year for environmental wellness. So I'm glad you accepted that. And again, we continue to honor you, but it was just great to, continue our conversation with our summer series with you this evening.
Well, thank you so much. Again, I enjoyed talking with you more. This has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it, and I appreciate the honor so much. Thank you.
No problem at all. So we will continue to have our conversations, so just make sure, you continue to be a part of those. We have several more that are coming, but I'm pretty sure they'll be posted, on the page and things like that. So we can share, just information. Like I said, we make sure through the Centers of Wellness for Urban Women that we keep women connected, health topics, different things that are going on, make sure we're sharing information, sharing resources. So we just like to make sure we stay, connected. And sometimes it's good just to come down from, work and everything that's going on and just kind of, be in the moment, just have a conversation about some things. So we just want to make sure we definitely did that this evening. But if we have nothing else, we are going to go ahead and wrap up. And I want to thank everybody who actually tuned in, just to listen to us and enjoy the conversation as well. And we hope you all will join the next conversation series coming up in the upcoming weeks. And we are going to go off.